Today, I'm here with Brandon Neilson over at the Dog Stop. We are chatting today just about some of the placements that we had with the Entrepreneur Source coaches and clients and the Dog Stop. So, Brandon, before we dive right in, do you want to give a little intro, your background, how you came into franchising, and then how you got to the Dog Stop?
Franchise development's one of those things. It's not like you can just come into the industry. You kind of have to know somebody, and it was the same for me. My dad's been doing this for basically my whole life. I got my start when I was in my early 20s with franchise development. Well, it's been about 20 years now since I've been in franchise development and sales, and it's been fantastic. My history with the Dog Stop, was interesting. I had my own franchise development company years ago, development company. The Dog Stop was one of 4 different clients that I was working with at the time. This is like back in 2016-17 timeframe. And we were able to bring in, I think I brought in maybe 10 franchise owners for them around that time frame. And it was a great little run. And then I had another opportunity that fell in my lap, one of those kind of too good to pass up opportunities. And so I actually left my business and put all those clients on hold and basically said, hey, I'm going to be going to do this other thing for 2 to 3 years is kind of what I projected. And so that's what I did. And then immediately when I was done with that other opportunity, which I knew was only going to be a short 2 to 3 year deal, I immediately called up Jesse over at the Dog Stop and said, hey, I'm done. I want to come work with you guys again. And Jesse's like, that's great. We want you back. We need you back. But we want to hire you directly. We don't want you working with anybody else. We want you exclusively just with us. And I was like, okay, let's set up a deal. So I've been officially back in that role as director of franchise development with the Dog Stop since just over a year now that I've been back with them. And it's been a busy year trying to get everything set up. We've kind of brought our franchise development efforts kind of to the next level over the last 6 months and really doing it the right way. So it's been fantastic.
That's really exciting because I believe worked or talked with the Dog Stop back in kind of the early days when they were really just getting started. Yeah. And then now to see, okay, like the growth and development from that point and to your story, the past year, I think especially.
One of the reasons why I decided to come back and work with these guys again is Jesse and Chris, they're the founders, the owners of the company. They're some of the most easiest guys to work with. Just some of those laid back, kind, type, give you the shirt off their back type guys, right? And that was a big decision for, when I was weighing the decision of where to go, that was one of the big things. But the thing with the Dog Stop, one of the things that they did very differently from the very beginning is they have had a very slow and methodical approach to franchise growth, where I've seen companies, and you can imagine in 20 years of doing this business, I've seen lots of companies that have kind of had the opposite approach and grew way too fast right out of the gate as a new franchise company. And in some cases, it literally destroyed their entire business because they just grew too fast. They weren't able to support their franchisees. Jesse and Chris took the opposite approach, and they're like, listen, we're going to grow very slow, very methodical, and it has paid off. I mean, we're now at 21 locations open and operating now. Every single location is profitable. And that's not common in the franchise world, right? In the franchise world, you typically have every franchise has a top third, middle third, bottom third, but most bottom thirds for most franchises are really struggling, right? They're losing money or they're breaking even. Even our bottom third are making money. So that's a testament to doing it the right way, being patient, doing it the right way, and that's really what they've done. And it was only really probably last year, summer, around this time last year, where we were like, you know what, we're ready to grow. Like we're ready to step it up. We have everything in place. We have an overabundance of support staff. The amount of support staff we have could support 100 franchisees, but we only have 17. But we're ready for growth. So we're kind of at that point now.
That is great, and I just love that you say that because I think too in the industry it's like just award as many franchisees as possible and then you'll figure it out. So just like on a tangent, what would you say to like a brand comes to you, and I'm sure they have, with like, Brandon, I would like to add 50 franchisees this year. I only have 2 right now. Like, what would you say to them?
It's a tough deal because as a franchise development person, a lot of people in my position, they see dollar signs, right? And it's like, well, at the end of the day, I'd rather be able to sleep well at night and know that what I'm doing is actually doing well for other people, not just for the new franchisees, but also for the franchisor. Because what the franchisor doesn't understand in taking something like that on, they're not going to be ready for it, and they're not going to be prepared for it, and it's going to come back and bite them. big time. And I've just seen, I have friends that do what I do in the industry, and I've seen horror stories that I just can't. I can't. I have to do the right thing at the end of the day. And the right thing is to, yes, we could probably grow a lot faster, but let's grow at the pace we know we need to in order to be successful.
Agreed. And I know we also talk about like a lot about abundance. And I think sometimes too, they're like, if we don't do this now, then we're not gonna be able to grow. Like, it's never gonna happen. So we got to do it now. And it's like, no. If you're gonna do it the right way, don't worry. No. Like, it's going to happen once you have the groundwork in place. And you want this to be long term. Like, you don't want to be in 2 years looking back and being like, oh no, we have to like terminate half of our system.
Yep, yeah, that's exactly what you don't want, and unfortunately in the franchise world that happens quite a bit, unfortunately. So
love hearing that. So thank you for just sharing that part of it. With the Entrepreneur Source, I mean, we had two placements, and I think the span of like 2 weeks, so like 2 franchise awards, and they were multiple location awards as well. So just want to kind of get your thoughts on, first of all, like what were the kind of the clients' backgrounds and where were they coming from?
Yeah, Justin was a business development guy. He essentially helped the businesses kind of get things in order and help them grow and develop their own, business. He was a business support, business development guy. And him and his wife, they were in Orlando, but him and his wife have been racing greyhounds. So greyhounds that have been used for racing purposes and their entire lives since they were puppies, know nothing different and have been in that life. And basically they would take these greyhound puppies or greyhound dogs after they've been racing for years and try to rehabilitate them into normal life. That's the type of people they are. They're just fantastic people. But he's, Orlando, and they're going to do amazing. I think he did 5. I think he bought a 5-pack in Orlando. So he's going to own the Orlando market for the most part. To be honest with you, I don't think I've ever had a more smooth, easy deal to get done ever. I mean, there was no issues. It was literally like from the first call, this is what we want to do. We're going to do it. And it was just kind of like that through the whole process. The other guy in New Jersey, that was a 3-pack. I think they bought 3 territories, in New Jersey. And he's an attorney. Whenever you're dealing with attorneys, they're nice people, obviously. But it was just like the back and forth at the very end with the agreement and just the little nitpicky, things that were like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter at all. And it's never going to matter. But regardless, real nice guy. He brought in a partner with him that he had known for quite a while, actually. And they did it together. But overall, I mean, at the end of the day, listen, it's getting deals done in franchise development is all about communication, always. And I think a lot of people in my position, one of the things that they don't do very well is the communication between not just them, me and the client, but me and the consultant. And quite frankly, Julian was top notch as far as communication goes. I mean, it was literally like I got an email or a call from him every single week, back and forth communication between how Justin's doing, how's he progressing, where's he at now, what's going on. And the same with Phil too. They were both fantastic when it came to that communication. So you have to, when you're working consultant leads like that, you have to have that back and forth constantly, and then both of them did an amazing job, and that obviously helps, right? So if it's just me that's trying to handle the entire thing, and I don't hear from the consultant at all ever, it's just kind of like, it's like all they did was send me a lead and like close it and let me know when you're done, and that was not the case with them. They were fantastic.
Excellent to hear. No, because it's something we talk about all the time. Is like, and I talk about with our franchise board members and then also with our coaches of like, okay, collaboration is essentially the communication piece of it, and without it, it's like if you're actually interested in the client and you're actually invested in like success, then you have to do that piece of it. Otherwise, it just like you said, if it's on the franchisor side and you're the one having to do everything, like it's all one-sided, like there's no back and forth. Or opposite way, where the coach is the one like, I'm having these calls, what's going on? Like it just doesn't work. So it just makes sense. But to your point, sometimes it's like, I don't have time for that.
No complaints, honestly. The whole process with both Phil and Julian was smooth throughout the whole process. And it was honestly, there was no hiccup with both of these. There was there wasn't any hiccups like your traditional, we got to watch out for this and this. There was nothing like that. It was a smooth process, which is great. It's too bad they can't all be like that, right?
And then just a few more things. So what was it? So both clients were like a bit different. One had that very like they were working with animals, like they clearly had that like red thread. That was their values. But the other one was attorney. So what resonated for them about Dog Stop? Was it the same thing, or were there like different things about it that spoke to both?
The people that get involved in our industry whether it's a new franchise owner or even the people that work inside of our locations, like the employees of these locations, there's one thing they all have in common, and that's they're passionate about dogs. And so, for instance, the guy in New Jersey, the attorney, well, his partner, his business partner, actually raises labs and trains them for people. So there's always a connection, for the most part, always a connection to dogs in some way. And it could be as simple as, listen, I'm interested in this franchise because I've had dogs my whole life and I love dogs and I wanted something I can be passionate about. There's a lot of franchises out there and a lot of opportunities, but it's very rare to have a franchise opportunity where you can get involved in something where you can be extremely passionate about what you do every day, but also make a lot of money. And that's this industry, right? So the financial rewards are huge in our business, as well as the emotional rewards too. People just love it. I mean, we have franchise owners. It is a semi-absentee business, which means that all the locations are run by full-time managers. So the franchisees aren't running the day-to-day stuff. And we have some franchise owners that literally they'll go in after work just to spend time with the dogs for an hour, right? Just to go and play with the dogs because it's like therapy for them. And so that's this business. There's not a lot of businesses like that, right? I mean, there's not. At the end of the day, it's just, you can make money in a lot of businesses, but can you be very passionate about what you do and really love what you do, right? That's the key.
And too, I think that's an awesome point. And also, where people might think, okay, they both came from very different backgrounds. Like one's this business consulting and then the other one attorney. So you have these backgrounds and they probably aren't thinking like, yeah, they like dogs, they're already doing these things, but it's not like they're thinking, how can I turn this into a business? Or even like, there's a way for me to turn this into a business. And even if they had that thought, they'd probably be like, like way too hard. Like, no, like too much. And then to be able to find something like Dog Stop where it's like, no, I can do it all. Like that's really exciting.
Yeah, and the fact that this is not an owner-operator business is huge for people because it's like, it's one thing to be passionate about dogs, but it's another thing to be like, okay, I have to go into my facility and I have to spend from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. there every day. And that's not this business, right? You do that in any business, you're going to get burnt out. And this, it's so nice because we have some franchise owners that literally go in once a week. We have some franchise owners that step in once a day just for an hour or so or 30 minutes just to see how everything's going. But that's, it's kind of the best of both worlds.
No, I think it's a big deal too, because I think sometimes too people think, okay, I'll turn my hobby or my passion into my full-time job, and then it becomes like, I hate this now, because you see with like fitness, you see with anything, like all of a sudden you're like, what am I doing here? I hate dogs.
Yeah, and
now.
it's that, and I think one of the benefits that we have with our business and our industry is this industry is a recession-resistant industry. One thing I've learned over the last 20 years in doing franchise development, no matter what, people are going to spend money on their kids, their pets, and their parents. So you get into any of those types of industries that are those what we call recession-resistant industries, and you're, for the most part, you're good to go. As long as you follow the model and do what you need to do, you're going to do well. But I've been working with the Dog Stop first in 2017 for a couple of years and now again, and I still cannot get over how much money people spend on their dogs. Like, I have 2 dogs myself, and I know how much money we spend, and we don't even spend as much as some people, and I'm just like, it's outrageous.
Like, the business is there. Like, there is no shortage.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Especially now more than ever, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
More people have dogs.
Well, all the COVID puppies got brought into people's homes during 2020. I mean, that's just that alone right there is going to keep us busy for the next 10 years. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yep. So no worries there. All right. And then I'll wrap it up here. What do you value? What does the Dog Stop value in their franchisees when you're looking to bring people on? And the other part is there anything about the Dog Stop that maybe surprises candidates as they're learning about it, where it's something they didn't expect?
Yeah, I think, it's kind of the same answer to both questions for the most part, in the sense that one of the things with the Dog Stop that's very different than a lot of franchises is we are very flexible. In other words, what I mean by that, it's not a cookie cutter franchise. So if you take all 21 of our locations that we have open and operating, not one looks exactly the same. Not one. They're all different. And the reason why is because of the way we do it. When we look at real estate, we have some competitors out there that are like, oh no, we got to be in high-end retail space, right? That's where we have to be. With us, we're like, no, we can do retail, we can do light industrial, flex, commercial. It doesn't matter where we go because this is a destination location. I mean, we have $1 million locations that are in light industrial spots. So it doesn't really matter. I think that's one of the things that surprised people, that we're very lenient when it comes to, first of all, where we go as far as the type of real estate. It needs to be an A-level real estate, but it can can be light industrial, it can be flex, it can be commercial, it doesn't have to be retail. And just the flexibility that people have. So we're not so stringent on like, listen, you have to do it our way or that's it. So we're very open to new ideas, and all of our franchisees kind of have their own little things that they do in their own locations that are very unique to them or maybe their area, right? So like you walk into one of them, if it's in a certain city, they'll have a mural up on the wall of that city's, the landscape or whatever it might be. So it's really cool. And I think that's one of the things that is very refreshing for people and surprises people a lot, because especially if they've talked to other franchises that are like, no, it has to be done this way or else. And they come in with us and they're like, oh, so you guys don't mind if I do this or maybe add this? And they're like, no, not at all. As long as it doesn't take away from the brand, we're totally fine with it. So I think that's a big surprise for a lot of people. And quite frankly, I'll be honest, the reason why some people that were looking at maybe a competitor said, no way, I'm going over to the dog stop because I can do this and this, and they won't allow me to do this over there. And it's also the fact that you can open up 2 to 4 of ours for the same investment level as one of theirs and make 2 to 4 times more money. We're in our industry, and I won't mention any of our competitors, but we're all doing the same revenues. So in the industry, but literally our investment level is a fraction of what theirs are. It's like a no-brainer. Once people realize that, they're like, wait a minute, so I can open up 2 to 4 of yours for the same price as one of theirs and make the same amount of money with one location. Yeah. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And the fact, that we're the only true one-stop shop in the industry. Nobody else does what we do. We're the only one-stop shop for customers where we offer all services under one roof, where some of our competitors are more specialized. They do one thing very well, where we do everything very well. So so we've decided to say, let's offer all services, make it very convenient for the customer, add extra revenue services for our franchisees to take advantage of, and not just focusing on this one service or 2 services. So that's another big deal.
Can you just briefly describe, I should have said this in the beginning, can you briefly describe what it is that the Dog Stop does and is?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are the only franchise out there that is a one-stop shop for dogs. So we do dog boarding, doggy daycare, grooming, training, retail, and in-home services. And we're the only ones that do it. Dog boarding, daycare, and grooming. Those 3 services right there, our core services, make up typically, give or take, about 90% of our revenue, where retail comes in at about 10%, give or take. But the fact that we offer all services under one roof for people is extremely convenient. So, you have a customer that comes in and they drop their dog off for boarding or daycare. Their dog food is sitting on our shelf, or their favorite dog treat or whatever it might be. Why would they go buy it anywhere else, right? Why would they get online and buy it? They could pick it up from us right there for the same price. And so it's a huge convenience for the customer, and obviously it's just added revenue for the franchise owner. So that's what we do. The only one-stop shop in the franchise world, and we're having a lot of fun. We can't even keep up. I mean, the demand outweighs the supply, so we're having a lot of fun with that right now.
That is a good place to be. So not hating that. All right. Well, anything else that you want to mention or close with?
There's more to come. I could look on my list right now with TES leads that I have that I'm working, and I could see easily 5 more that are coming down the pipe here pretty quick for new deals to be done with TES. So keep them coming. We'll keep bringing them in, bringing good people in, and it's exciting. I'm excited about the TES stuff that we have going on.
Thanks, Brandon. You're the best.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.